Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. You know what? This is going to be another tag video. I got into this. I did 2 tag videos since I've been here with my channel on YouTube, and I had so much fun with them that I decided that I wanted to try to create my own tag video. And really basic, something. It's going to be 6 questions, and this is going to be called My Decade Forward Tag. Okay, so just literally from your decade that you're born in, and we're going to go forward. And just 6 questions, real basic, and you can go as deep with your answers as you choose to, but it really is so you can get to, you know, it's fun to get to know the other YouTubers and the new YouTubers. Of course, their videos are going to probably be a little shorter than some of us old birds. But that whole thing, I thought it would be cute, and let's give it a go, and let's see if you guys like it, and if so, we'll move forward. All right. My Decade Forward Tag, question number 1. What decade were you born in? I was born in the 70s. So that's me. I'm 1972. I was born. What decade has been your favorite and why? That's question 2. My favorite decade, I would have to say, was the 90s. Hell, the most fun I've actually had doing me as an adult, I have to say, like 1996. 1996, baby, I was 24 years old, and it was hell across the land. Do you hear me? I had so much fun when I was 24. Hell, I was 170 pounds, running around wearing whatever I wanted to wear, however I wanted to wear it. I learned that I could be me, as much of me as I wanted, and didn't care. Like, I really learned my give 0 fucks in 96, right around there in 96. I could be all of me. And, it was something else. It was something else. It was so bad, and I'm getting off this question, but it was so bad that I lied about being 24 so long until I got shamed, because I just wanted to keep reliving it. Anyway, so my favorite decade was actually the 90s. Favorite song. What is your favorite song from your decade going forward? I'm going to say, and you know what, this one really depends on what day you get me on, because I love music so much that it depends on what day you actually ask me this question, what answer you're going to get. But let's go ahead, let's try it. The 70s, I'm going to say Boogie Wonderland, Earth, Wind and Fire, and The Emotions was my cut. That's my cut. The 80s, Starpoint, Object of My Desire. That was my jam, okay? 90s, let's do, it was a slow one. How Can I Ease the Pain, Lisa Fisher. The vocal, sickening. Sickening, you understand me? And then 2000, and this you're not going to get from me very often, because usually it's all female artists. You know that. I'm usually this female artist person. But my jam in the 2000s would have been Luther Vandross, Can I Take You Out? That was the goddamn jam. Do you hear me? The jam. He tore that up. That was like one of my favorite Luther songs. Okay, let's see. Question number 4. Favorite TV show or TV show character from your decade going forward? Okay, TV shows. In the 70s, I would have to say my favorite TV shows was Dance Fever and The Bionic Woman. I remember actually The Bionic Woman used to come on on Sunday nights. And I was too young, because it didn't come on until after midnight. It was like after midnight, after the news and all of that. And I would actually stand in the hallway, because I could stand in the hallway, the apartment my mom had, and I could look catty corner out into the living room. And I would stand in the hallway or lean in the hallway, sitting up there watching The Bionic Woman, child. And I'd be so tired, leaning against the wall over by the laundry room, honey, trying to watch this woman jumping around and carrying on. Just a mess. Always too damn grown. But I got the TV in. I was watching the TV here. Then the 80s, it was Wonder Woman. Never missed the episode. Came on every Saturday, 6 o'clock. Never missed the episode. And I'm going to also say 227 was in the later 80s. I love 227. Came on Saturday nights. In the 90s was A Different World. Thursday nights after the Cosbys. And also very, very late on Saturday at one point, and on Friday another point, was Showtime at the Apollo. Loved it. Let's see. And the 2000s was let's see. Oh, so many things. You know what? Project Runway and So You Think You Can Dance. And all this reality shit that I'm always reviewing. But really, Project Runway and So You Think You Can Dance. Let's see. Question number 5. What is your favorite movie or movie character from your decade going forward? Okay. This one's kind of detailed, but all right, let's say. The 70s, my favorite movie was Mahogany. In the 80s, my favorite movie was Mommy Dearest. The 90s, my favorite movie was The Sixth Sense. The little boy, I see dead people. Him. I love that movie because I watch so much TV and so many movies that, you know, I always figure the shit out before they get to the end of it. Did not figure that out until the end. Sixth Sense was fabulous. In the 2000s, to date, the best movie that I think that Halle Berry has done, which is Gothika. Gothika with Halle Berry, I think is the best movie that she has done thus far. Loved it. I'm going to go ahead and do the characters too. You guys don't have to do characters unless you want to, but I can do characters as well. For the 70s, I'm going to say my favorite movie character was Cleopatra Jones. And the funny thing about that, okay, I don't know how many of you know this, but, okay, of course you guys know, spillitboy is my little handle. James Caldwell is my actual real birth name. And then my nickname is actually Shaft, which is actually ridiculous. It has always been ridiculous. I'm born in 72. I was nicknamed Shaft before I ever was actually born. That was this whole thing. A whole mess. They didn't even know if my mom was having a boy or a girl or what, and they had already nicknamed me before I was even born, and the nickname was Shaft. Child, I don't have nothing in common with that man or that character. As a matter of fact, I hated the movie. I hate the song. Don't give a shit about none of that. Trust me. For the 70s, Cleopatra Jones, that Tamara Dobson was the shit, baby. And I didn't care nothing about Richard Roundtree. Trust, even back then, I knew I didn't have nothing in common with him and wasn't thinking about him. But Cleopatra Jones, baby, she'll whoop your ass with that afro wig on, baby, and give you, go on, honey, before I have to fuck you up. Loved her. Loved her, loved her. So, whatever. That's just a little bit more facts about me. Anyway, in the 80s, who did I love in the 80s? Movie character. You know what? I gotta skip the 80s. I have to come back to the 80s and see who I loved in a movie in the 80s. I'm not real sure. But in the 90s, it was Catwoman from Batman and Robin. You see where we're going with this. It was Catwoman, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, was the absolute shit. And Batman and Robin in the 90s. And then literally for the 2000s, just all of the X-Men. You know, after they, you know, depicted it into a movie. And, yeah, all of them. All them X-Men. I liked all of them. Yeah, they got down. Kind of like that. And I can't think of anybody for the 80s that I absolutely loved in a movie. Other than Mommy Dearest, because she was so goddamn crazy that I just loved her. Faye Dunaway's part, Joan Crawford was just as crazy as catnip. So I'll just say Mama Dearest, I liked her. That was just, she was crazy all on her own. Okay, let's go on. Last question is 6 is the best thing that happened to you from your decade going forward. You know what? I have to say, in the 70s, I recognized my love for music and entertainment. So that was in the 70s. In the 80s, I developed my whole skill for fashion design and creating clothes in the 80s. So I would say that. In the 90s, I actually found my skill for cosmetology and doing hair in the 90s, as well as my love of female illusion. And I learned all that. That all came together in the 90s. My love of female impersonation, which actually brought money. All of that hair, money, and clothes, they all brought money. So the bottom line on all of those were green. So yeah, 80s and 90s. And then in the 2000s, I actually stepped back into my love of writing, and I published my first book in the 2000s. And also my kids. My kids are both born in the 2000s. So, and that by far, I'd have to say, is like the best thing that has actually happened in the 2000s is my kids, adopted my children, and all of that. So that's basically it. That's the last question, guys. That is my decade going forward tag. And I want to tag now to do this video Squeaky Jones, Jamila TV, For It's Rocks, Cemented, Nina, Much Love and KY, My Girl The Ghetto View, Chanel JTV, let's think, who? Smoke Break 314, Say Sean Bradley, Kayla Joe, and Closet Confessions.tv, and a new baby. We got a new baby that she's just getting started, and I just crack up with her. Buzzworthy TV. Do the video, baby. Your video is probably going to be shorter than all of ours, but that's, you know, that's what it is. It is what it is. So those are the people I'm tagging. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. I thought this was fun. And I can't wait to see some of the other videos if people choose to do them. I can't wait to see them. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.